Then we can also play you at Gwent. And you are also a random person who is not affiliated with any quests, so I would think that that means your deck is not very good, so we can probably use any deck we'd like against you.
How about a few rounds of cards? Gwent specifically.
Okay. And now this has been, what, a couple in a row? Oh no, I was going to say a couple in a row when we've done Nilfgaard, but that's actually not true. We've done Scoia'tael, I think, for the past couple. So I think we've split roughly even between those two factions as of late. Thought that maybe Scoia'tael was a little bit better than Nilfgaard. I'm not so sure about that. I think they might be pretty similar, and it largely just comes down to how good of a hand we end up drawing and what type of opponent we're matching up against. So, why don't we go with Nilfgaard here? Like I said, I think Scoia'tael was most recent, and our opponent is Scoia'tael. So we can have melee nerf, which is a little bit tough because Scoia'tael might have some of those agile cards that allow our opponent to play in either the range or melee row, so they might be able to just avoid melee if we play this. Then we have a couple of medics, okay, a spy, 6 strength in siege, then a bunch of heroes, and 10 strength non-hero black infantry archer. This is pretty good in terms of just raw strength. And we have the spy and medics to give us a little more flexibility. Not a huge fan of the Biting Frost, like I said, because I feel like, yes, our opponent could have a reasonable amount of things in the melee row. We, when we're playing Scoia'tael, do have a fair bit of melee muster. So this could be a bit of a way to counter that. But if our opponent has agile, then that means that they can basically just avoid this altogether. So I think for that reason, this is kind of a gamble. We don't know. It could be almost useless or it could be pretty effective. But let's go with something that's a little bit more well-rounded, like maybe another spy. Said it before, I'm not a huge fan of this spy in particular because 7 strength on the spy just makes me a little uneasy. But it is still drawing 2 cards, so maybe that's good enough. Let's stick with this maybe then. And we go first, it looks like. Let's lead off with the... Oh no, they go first. Okay. And they did have an agile card here. They opted to play it in the melee row. If we were to have gone with keeping the melee nerf and playing it, then I think we would have nerfed this one, yes, but then they would have probably had several more agile cards and played them in the range row instead. So I think that might be a good indication that we made a decent choice there. Let's also base that off of what happens when we play our spy, and we got the dragon, and I missed what the other card we drew into was. It might have even been one of these heroes, or this 10 strength siege unit here. So yeah, I think that paid off big time. Oh, they stole our spy, which normally I would say is pretty bad because spies are good, but we have a much better spy that we would rather they not steal, this only 4 strength spy. If they're playing a 7 strength spy on our side of the playing field, then it's not terrible. It does, however, mean that we just barely missed the opportunity to take it out with the dragon, because when we played it, it had 7 strength that brought our opponent's melee row up to 13, and the dragon's Scorch ability would have triggered, and it would have deleted the highest unit in there, which would have been that spy right there. So just barely missed the opportunity to do that. We could potentially play our other spy, and that would get our opponents back up to 10 strength. And then that would mean Scorch from our dragon would remove you. Chances that our opponent has another decoy, maybe? Don't really know. Other thing is, if our opponent does play that spy, and there's the melee nerf, if our opponent does play the spy, which they could very well do, then we can... Oh, hold on. Again, Witcher decided to tab out. It did that a little while ago for some reason, but we're back now. And if our opponent does opt to play that spy, it goes to our graveyard at the end of the round. We can use one of our 2 medics to play it again. So in that way, it's actually not a terrible thing if you steal our spy, because then we can play it a second time, as long as you don't play it in round 3. So, you have a lot of cards out compared to our 0 cards at the moment. So they're all in the melee row. Unfortunately, you have it such that you have 1 card with 6 strength. So a Scorch would remove... hold on. We'll get to you eventually. No, it really does not want to allow me to look at individual cards here. No matter what I want. There we go. This one is the one that we would end up getting with the Scorch, and only this one, which is a little unfortunate. It'd be great if we could get it to take out a bunch of the muster people, but obviously with only 3 strength, that's not going to happen. If we were to melee nerf, then we could drop everyone down to 1 strength. You'd no longer be a 10 strength total in the melee row, but it would still be a pretty big play. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about here. Oh, we, with our spy, I think drew into 1 Imperial Brigade guard, which is unfortunate. If we do get the chance to replay one of those spies, then we'd hope that we probably draw into another Imperial Brigade guard so that it suddenly becomes much better. But as for right now, I think what we do is, I think we go with a hero here. That's not a Scorch target, because most of our other cards would either be cards that we want to save, like the medics or the Imperial Brigade guard, or they would be tied for or the highest card on the playing field, and suddenly they'd become the Scorch targets. So let's go with, I don't think it makes a huge difference here other than Siri. Somehow we still had 11 cards there, I guess, from all the spies that we played. So there is the spy. You have now played it, and it does give us a lot of strength, and that's not bad. It means we are almost tied for you right now, and we like that you played it this round, because that means in round 2 or 3 we could play one of our medics to replay you from our graveyard and draw even more cards, so that's fine. Question now is just, what is the next step? The dragon is tempting, yes, but if we were to play it suddenly, we have 2 cards with 7 strength. They would both be the highest strength cards out there. That means the Scorch would remove both of them. We lose 14, that is huge. So I think this is definitely not the time to make that happen. Maybe for that reason, we take this opportunity to use the melee nerf. Or we try to ease into that a little bit, lull our opponent into a false sense of security, have them play 1 more melee card before we do this, and see if we can get a little bit more out of it. I think this is still pretty strong play here. We are managing to nerf a lot of their cards. It does nerf our card in the melee row, yes. But we still have our leader, who's unaffected by it, which means that we have the lead here, which means that we can pass and take round 1, which I think I'm fine with. Because like I said, we'll have the ability to replay that spy there, and that should continue to give us card advantage going forward. And we might even want to do that here. So I think if we play a 0 strength medic deliberately, that means we will not really have any risk of being the highest strength card out there, especially when we play this spy back from our graveyard. Draw 2 more cards, and with those cards we get a Commander's Horn and a Decoy. We have another way in which we could steal card from, or a spy specifically from our opponent, which is exactly what we are about to do. So fantastic timing. One moment while we take this guy right back. And now we see how our opponent reacts. See how many times we can play the same card over again. So we played you twice. We're now going to play you for the 2nd time. And yes, you are going to get doubled. But, well, hold on. If we were to play the dragon, we would remove you, but then the dragon would become the strongest unit out there. So I think, yes, we do want to play you. Even though you will get doubled, it'll bring you up to an 8. Which means suddenly you will be protecting the dragon from the Scorch. And who did we end up drawing? We drew Frangilla Vigo. And one other card, which I did not catch. Oh, I think it was Yennefer. I don't think we had her before. That's a pretty big pickup. She's 7 strength and also a medic. So let's see. You've played another medic and used that to bring back this card here. It's also getting doubled to 12. We have a reasonable amount of strength in the melee row, and we could destroy some of it with our dragon. But this kind of feels like an opportunity for us to pass, carry over some pretty big card advantage into round 3. And I'm trying to think, is there any way in which we could bide more time and make it so that we can play these guys again by, say, allowing our opponent to steal them with a decoy, replay them, and then we play them from our graveyard with some of our medics. That might still be possible if we pass here, because our opponent might be thinking to themselves, well, we have a huge lead, so it doesn't matter. We can play We can decoy out of the spies, and we'll still have enough strength to win this one. We can play them on our opponent's side, we'll still have enough strength. So, yeah, I think we pass here. And we're fine with our opponent beating us by 34 points in round 2, because that means they've seriously overinvested, and we are winning with the card advantage that we will have here. So this is a decent opportunity for us to use the dragon, because you have more than 10 strength in melee row. They're all the same strength right now. That means dragon would remove absolutely everyone. The problem with that is that then the dragon is the highest strength card out there, and it becomes the scorch target. So we'd love if they played some relatively powerful unit, actually, in either the range or siege row that would be higher than the dragon at 7, so then the dragon is protected from scorch. And it's not a really high single unit that you play in the melee row, otherwise that means that we're no longer being able to scorch all these guys. So, gonna get a little bit clever here, but we're deliberately gonna wait to play the dragon. And let's just see, do we have anything that we want to bring back with the medic? Because I feel like we don't have a lot in our graveyard. We don't. So in fact, we could have potentially played more in the previous round with the specific intention of using our medics for things, because we actually don't even have enough cards to bring back with our 2 medics right now. We could bring back 1 medic with one of them, and then when we play that other medic, we will have another medic that we want to try to bring something back from our graveyard with. To tell you what, for that reason, maybe we are fine going with the dragon. It is a scorch target. If it gets scorched, we'll replay it using our medics. Let's see what you do. Your medic, you replay a spy. Okay, so that's the thing that I really wanted our opponent to do in the previous round. Or I suppose, no, they had you on the playing field. It would have had to have been in your graveyard to do that. Or, yeah, what we really wanted was for them to use a decoy and then replay it that way. So, I don't think there's any way for us to steal that in this case. It's unfortunate, but we do still have card advantage even after we played a spy there. We know that you have another spy in your discard pile, so it's possible that you could do that again, in which case I think we'd be tied for cards or very close to it. But, you know, you are giving us some strength when you play spies on our side, especially the other one, which is 7 strength, so I think that's probably still okay. We are still looking at the dragon being a scorch target. I think for that reason it's fine for us to throw in some relatively average cards like a Frangilla Vigo, even if it's supposedly some extremely rare card that Zoltan was amazed that we were able to get because it's so valuable. No, not really. Okay, Siri is good. 15 strength hero, but of course we also have Siri. We can pull that out whenever we want. And I think we can play another 6 strength unit because it is not going to be the strongest unit out there, so it won't be scorchable. Okay, another strong hero. Yes. We'll continue to lead off with our weakest card, so we'll throw you in next. Unfortunately, we did not manage to draw into another Imperial Brigade. Okay, you do have a melee nerf. It is pretty unfortunate here. We have... Those are our only melee cards, or at least only melee cards that are going to be affected by the nerf. Our other ones are heroes. So it could have been worse, but that was likely going to be the row that we wanted to double with our Commander's Horn. Actually, we could potentially make it be Siege now. Tell you what we actually want to do at this point. Oh, I was going to say, once again, I keep on thinking that we want to protect ourselves from the scorch, but we have so many medics that it really doesn't matter. So I'm thinking it's going to be Siege that we're going to want to double. I would say for that reason, we lead off with you rather than you, so that way if our opponent does have a scorch, it's getting rid of a card that we're not quite as attached to. Oh, but I tell you what, it actually doesn't matter. We can double either of these, and we'd have 16 strength to begin with, doubled to 32 in either instance. It really doesn't matter. I think let's play one of them though, because even though that would make this the highest card out there, it is still better to lose this 1 10 strength card than to lose 2 6 strength cards, because right now both of these would be the scorch targets. It was going to be the dragon, but the dragon got nerfed from 7 down to 1. That's why that changed. Okay, now you have a siege nerf. That starts to get concerning. We do have a lot of heroes. That does mean we'll have a reasonable number of people who are outright immune to those weather effects. We've just not played them yet. So that gives me a little bit more comfort, but it does definitely mean that we are going to want to double the range row for sure. Let's play our non-medic heroes next. We want to try to have our opponent play all the remaining cards and just see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so you have some agile cards, and this is an instance in which agile is very useful because you can deliberately avoid the nerfed row and instead go to the one row that is not nerfed right now. It is a very nice thing to be able to do. Oh, you're also in the range row, so technically speaking, we would have had slightly more happening in the range row than in the siege row, except depends on, remind me who we are technically going to bring back with our medic ability. Well, another medic with 0 strength, so it's really not going to do anything. We, in many ways, actually do want you to use a Scorch and take somebody out, because we otherwise have absolutely nothing of use to do with our medics. So I'm going to bide time by playing heroes, and we can actually use our hero ability quite soon, our leader ability. So I'm actually a little surprised Yavon's not a hero, based on how prominent of a role he played in Witcher 1. But let's go to our leader ability, because if we use it now, we'll see every card that our opponent has. And they do have a clear weather. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. So if they want to, they can get rid of all these weather effects. They don't have a Scorch. They have more agile units, so they can be flexible. So they don't need to play this. They could just continue to play cards in the range row and avoid the nerfs and continue to nerf us. That's probably the right move, but we'll see if they do it. Should go in the range row, and it does mean that, well, we're safe from Scorches, so we can continue to do this stuff here, but it doesn't mean we'll be able to do much of anything with our medics. Probably can play in the range row, and then last card is the clear weather. We don't know if they'll do it. Play Searing next. Avoid the medics for now. Not that that really means much. Are you going to do it? You are not going to use clear weather. It's not going to matter. We're already winning. We'll play you, Yennefer. Bring back our medic from our graveyard, and that medic is not going to do anything because he has no one to bring back from our graveyard. Similar story with this medic, except you at least have 1 strength, and then that means that we will double the range row here, and that actually means that we have a pretty comfortable win. So it worked out. And let's see what you have for us. Crowns, yes, but I'm more interested in the card. Havocar Smuggler. Okay, so we have seen those before. We already have 2 of them, but that is important because that is one of the muster melee cards. I believe it was this one that we just picked up. It's one of the muster melee cards for Scoia'tael, and so the more of them we have, the more you can muster. So I think we definitely put you in. And then I think that for Scoia'tael, we were saying that we wanted to potentially get rid of our weaker musters, the Dwarven Skirmishers, but we couldn't quite do that because we would have gotten below the number of unit card limit, or actually minimum, I should say. So we couldn't do it, but now I think with adding that other one, oh no, we're just a little bit short still. We might have removed a different unit instead. Like we put someone else in and then got rid of the skirmishers. If we put in, I think you were in our deck at one point in time, Dennis Cronmer here, or even Dandelion. Tell you what, we have enough melee units. Dandelion is not a bad play. Scoia'tael. We did have him in for a little while in Northern Realms, but then I think we decided to take him out because we are primarily using heroes and Siege for Northern Realms, but it's not because Dandelion is a bad card, it's just that that's not the right way to complement him. But I think we have enough melee that we can actually make Dandelion work, and maybe that is reason enough to keep in the Dwarven Skirmishers. Because the other thing is that, sure, they're just 3 strength by themselves, but collectively, if you get them to work properly, where you have only one of them in your hand and you draw the rest of them from your deck and play them when you play one of the Dwarven Skirmishers, then that is 9 strength, and that's a lot. So double that is also significant too. And tell you what, I mean, I'm not terribly impressed with all the extremely weak medics, Because as we saw in that previous match there, we just don't have enough stuff to bring back with the medics when we have that many of them. So if anything, at this point, I might actually consider removing one of them. But either way, I think that is actually a pretty solid pickup. It's not a game-changing card for Scoia'tael, but it's going to be a nice one. Makes our deck at least a little bit stronger. Let's see what else we can do around here, though. What are you doing? You're playing a flute while sitting on a boat when you're supposed to be a boatwright. Really feels like you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing right now. So let's see. I feel like there's got to be some people here who have some kind of quest that they might want to give us or something of that sort. Typically, we're getting around at least one of those per area, right? So that's partially where I'm coming from when I say that. For someone who's at least in some way, shape, or form affiliated with a quest. Not sure we've yet seen that. Is it just me, or are you tiny? Okay. That's because there's a ledge that I did not see. I was like, you are way shorter than us. I'm not sure why that was. I missed the staircase. That was why. Okay. Looks like mostly soldiers here, and definitely not safe to loot these things. Anything else here, though? In terms of people for us to speak to, of note, are you all just generic fishermen and skelegers and soldiers? Again, messing with my brain a little bit with all these elevation changes. What looks like just a small town might actually be much bigger. What is this? This could have some good stuff in it. Elemental essence and the emerald. Yeah, I think so. Is this safe for the taking as well? I think so. Probably that's as significant, but sure. Anything else hiding in here? Don't think so. Let's try going this route instead. Be a little bit different. I think we went the other way before. Maybe not. Hold on. In that case, let me see this. I think this leads us out of the village, though. Not sure where this goes. Let's check our map real quick. That's further south, yeah, and definitely outside of the village. So this would be the Cave of Dreams, is technically the active quest that we have, which is in this direction, yes. But I still don't think that we've necessarily done everything that there is to do in this town. Let's make sure that we get the chance to do that. That way we don't miss things while we're in the area. You know, there's always a chance that we hear of a certain person in this area we didn't catch the first time, but I think it's helpful. Look a little more thoroughly first go round. This might be lootable. Yeah, but it's not exactly a game changer either. So let's break our ankles, and then what? Is that just our first marker? Even though we were in here before? A little strange, but I guess we should be pretty safe comparatively. Not that that's a huge deal there to pick up a bunch of broken ores. Maybe a little nervous, that woman there, but I don't think that's a shield maiden who'd get mad at us. I think that's just a random villager. Okay. Now, still a little surprised that the most significant person we found thus far was that merchant. And yes, we did manage to play them at Gwent, and we won a decent card out of it, but nothing super significant. But I suppose if you give us half-decent loot, then something to be said for that as well. Oh, I can't be too picky. Not every town... don't mind us. We're just, we were stopping by to, deliver your mail, is what it was. Mail's delivered. See you later. Sorry about that. Also, just kidding. We're actually here to steal all of your belongings. Sorry. Except not really.
Vagrant.
Yeah, you know, that's actually somewhat accurate. given the nature of what we are currently doing. Just extinguish that. That doesn't really matter. Let us see what other options we have. Phosphorus is something. It is something. Did you ever notice that you have this ghostly little whirling sound from the corner of one of your house? Or one of the corners of your house? Okay. Not seeing much else there. I do feel like there's probably going to be something else that takes us in this direction at some point in time. We just haven't found out about it yet. There are some quests that are in this general area, but apparently none that have anything that is directly in the village itself. Let's take a quick peek at our map / quest list. And so, yeah, we've spent some time in all these little villages here. And in terms of question marks, closest ones would probably bring us further north. We've not yet explored this area or really fully connected the dots between Arnbjorn and Karamur. So that's a little tempting to do something like that. Otherwise, we do have a few quests that are in southern Ardskellige around here. I thought some of them were a little bit at a higher level, though. Like, Cave of Dreams is pretty low level, and that's not a bad idea to do that soon. For that reason. Like, Possession, no, that's in a different island altogether. But, like, where's this one? This might be some of the southern, Skellige ones. No, that's further north. Because some of the ones that are further south, I was, kind of didn't have at the forefront of my mind, because I was thinking, that's probably not something that's going to be soon that we do it, but now that we are finding ourselves in southern Ardskellige somewhat unexpectedly after we got jailed not long ago, then suddenly that maybe changes our priorities a bit, and something like this maybe becomes a little bit more doable. What level was Family Played? That is 15. That's another one that we might want to do soon. It's a little far away. It's not directly south of here, it's directly east of here. That might not be a bad idea. Maybe we do... I feel like we do some of these question marks, head up north. Like, this one's maybe a little bit out of the way, but if we do this question mark, head up to this area here, explore this lake area, and then head southeast over to the Family Blade spot. Thinking that might be a plan. And we'll take it from there. You know, we'll see. There's, of course, the chance that we might run into something along the way, and it sort of distracts us / seems more significant, so we want to do that instead, or at least first. That should be fine. And I think in Skellige, it is definitely far easier to follow the paths than it is not to follow the paths, because if you don't follow the paths, then you end up climbing mountains like this. But I do wonder sometimes. There are definitely... There's definitely the risk that you can fall to your doom. There is that. But oftentimes there are little things here and there that are off the beaten path that you might miss if you went straight on the path and only on the path. That being said, you know, yeah, we cut one of the corners, but then we did ultimately make it back onto the path here. So it's kind of just a wanting to do a little bit of both. In case sometimes we do see quests directly on the path as well. It's just a matter of being a little bit more thorough with the exploration, I suppose. Making sure that we're not doing only one type of exploration or travel and missing out on the other stuff. So, is it in this direction? That looks like a place of power. I'm guessing that is the question mark right there. At the top of that rock formation. That looks a whole lot like a place of power. It has a little bit of green glow to it, I think. Oftentimes they are guarded. I'm hearing something. Can't tell where it is. Very much hear it. Is that actually the place of power that we're hearing? It might be. It actually might be. didn't remember that they made sounds, but at least maybe only when you look at them using your Witcher senses. Let's save just in case something funky is happening here.
Medallion's humming. Place of power.
Oh,
It's gotta be.
well, see, this maybe is not the best way to get up there. Also, there are some things below it, but I'm not sure we want to try to make that jump. Find a better way. Are there enemies down here? But further below. I think that's further below. That definitely could have hurt us. But how are we supposed to get there? Are we actually supposed to do a running jump? I was skeptical of that, though I'm not exactly seeing an easy way up there. Oh dear. This could be a long way down. So can we say climb from this direction to make it up? You wild boar? No, you're a deer. Okay. Second there, I thought you might have been adversarial. Those are actually Indrigas, based on the sound. Thought based on the size of the group that it was going to be just wolves, but Indrigas might actually be worth checking out. Oh, Geralt, I know you can climb this. Don't give me that. You can definitely pull this off. I know you can do this. Don't give me the surfing impression. I believe in you. Geralt, I believe in you. I believe in yourself, Geralt, because I believe in you. Sometimes you just have to believe. Oh, come on, Geralt. Huh? That was not me. That was in game. Where the heck did that come? Is that down? Hold on. What is this? What? So, yeah, there's a farting sound in game? What? I mean, part of me thinks, like, maybe a sheep? Or maybe that's, like, supposed to be a hint that there's something down here? Like a person? So that's it's quite a distance for that sound to travel. I mean, this makes me a little nervous because this looks like impending doom. If I already saved, well, then we saved again. But this really looks like there's those things are definitely in here. There's yes, something that looks very dead. This looks a lot like a lair of some kind of big beast that we would fight for a Witcher contract. That makes me a little nervous to go further in here. But I think that for the most part, we have negotiated all the Witcher contracts that we know about in advance. But if we do accidentally do something like this, we should still be in the clear. It is also very dark. Is there anything we can light? Not seeing anything. Can we throw on a cat potion, maybe? Let's try doing that. Just so that we can have some sight. Actually, where? No, it's here. Cats. I think is near the bottom. Yes. Let's replace drowner pheromones. Yeah, no, we don't need that anymore. That is also the wrong thing. That was... I really thought I put the cat potion in that spot. What did I put there? Did I just eat one of the... Did I eat a roasted chicken leg instead? I think I might have. That was supposed to be the cat potion. Remind me... Yeah. Let's... Actually, it's this. That's enhanced white Rafford. I want that. Okay. There we go. Is that the way we came in? That looks like the way we came in. This way. What is there?
What? Eat, you. Goulash of necrosis. Much onion.
That's a troll. Definitely.
Onion
Multiple trolls at that. That's the sound I heard.
Scared. Plug bunghole with
So this may backfire on us, because we have, of course, run into trolls in the past, and they've been quite powerful. But let's listen in. Oh. Hey, guys. Yeah, that's very obviously a, hey, this is the end of the arena-like area here, but... Oh, no, Jesse, no! What if we don't want to fight them? I wanted to shoot the breeze with Jesse, Joe, and Dodger. Do we have to be enemies? I like trolls. These kind of trolls, not internet trolls. Very different. Okay, so I know you can block a lot of damage, but you generally have very high defenses. Don't remember if that means we're supposed to use strong attacks. It probably does. And I'm deliberately trying to hit you with an Igni early. Ooh, saw that one coming. So that way, we break through some of those strong defenses. But 3 trolls is actually, even if they're only level 16, that's still no joke.
That stench.
Okay, the stench comment maybe makes more sense here than it ever has before. Especially when they're consistently farting on us. So I do wonder what the story is here. This might have actually been affiliated with the quest, and I forgot about it. This might have been like the missing miners. What's that? There is a rock that's being thrown at us that actually hit one of the other golems there. Let's double check. Is this like lost miners or something else of that sort? Hold on. It's not going to be one of the multiple locations ones, I don't think. I think we're going to find... Possession? No. Cave of Dreams is a different place. I think, unless we are that far south, but I didn't think we were. What of Unvik? No, that's different. Family Plate? No. Treasure hunts? Do we know anything about this at all? Because especially with them having names, it feels like there is something special about this that we're missing. We are jumping the gun a bit. I don't really want to take out these cool trolls without any reason. Okay, so Capos didn't wear off. Which means it is quite dark here, in fact. As soon as we step a little bit away from them, it becomes very hard to see. Let's drop another cat potion. Ooh, I almost jumped into that one. Not that it really mattered, but yeah, if we actually just hang in there and fight them like that, then okay, well, actually, I was going to say it's not that bad, but that hurt quite a bit. Okay, Joe down. Still don't feel very good about this. I'm gonna see what the after effects are. See if we get any type of quest update. Then I'm gonna gauge from there. It seems like we have made some kind of woeful mistake by seeing this through. You had quite a combo there. Well done. Yeah, it's not that much. Technically hitting you in the back there, which is no problem. There we go. You are down. Yes. But why? What is the significance? That really feels like we're missing something here. There's definitely some good stuff, like full-blown emeralds, yes. But it seems like this should be affiliated with some kind of quest. Like, this is an awful lot to just randomly show up. Diamond Dust is not bad either. Crystallized Essence. I mean, if it's just for the loot, then fine. But I feel like we're missing something. Maybe not. Maybe it is purely coincidental. 3 trolls, all of whom have names in this area, and that's just the way it goes. There's nothing, there's no more depth to it. I'm reading into it too much. Well, okay, this does explain a bit. If this is technically supposed to be a place where there is a treasure hunt. There's a Witcher School gear, then that makes a lot more sense. If these guys are basically the guardians of the Witcher School armor, that makes me a little more comfortable with it. Okay. Now I feel okay. So, like, basically, what I'm getting at is, if we were to have activated that treasure hunt, then we would have seen, okay, it would have directed us here, and then we would have known we're expecting to find some kind of enemies guarding this stuff, and apparently the enemies were going to be those trolls. I think that's it. Okay. So let's keep on moving then. Not gonna lie. When I first saw this tree, it really looked like it was a Christmas tree all lit up. Kind of fitting, given the timing, but just about. Okay, so the other question was the place of power. That was the original thing we were trying to do here. We just kind of happened across that entrance there. So, attempt number whatever at trying to get up this thing. But I do start to feel like we are actually supposed to try to jump this. I initially had my doubts. I felt like that was too large of a distance and would not have been able to pull it off. But based on the difficulty we seem to be having with approaching it from, come on, Geralt, any other angle, even when I'm trying to go around now, seems like that may be our only option is to run and jump here. So, here goes nothing.
Magic.
Ah!
A place of power.
Actually, with some distance to spare. Not bad. Could have helped us out if we did this first, of course, but ultimately didn't really need it. So, let's check it out. What do we want to do next? So, I think we were saying... Where was it? We were going for some of this. The losing less adrenaline points when we get hit. Because eventually, if we fully upgrade this, it appears as though this will make it so that we are taking or losing no adrenaline points at all when we get hit. And that doesn't sound that dramatic. Maybe not a huge deal, but bear in mind that if you combine that with the Undying perk here, there's a pretty nice synergy where we will almost always be able to get a second life of sorts with, well, at least a little bit of life on it. Because we will always have some adrenaline, or at least assuming we've hit our opponent at least once, triggering the Undying effect here. So we actually don't have this equipped right now. We are a little bit low on slots. It's 3 levels until we get a new one, so I think we can still make it happen relatively soon, and basically we'll just upgrade this a few times before we actually put it in. Which is not a terrible thing. It's just going to be good once we actually have the chance to use it. It'll be sitting... Okay, I should not have dropped like that. As soon as I started walking over there, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty big drop-off, isn't it? Yeah, we lucked out in that case. But, Geralt, that just doesn't make sense that you're sliding away like that in that direction on that occasion. But anyways, back to the path. Now we have gotten to this question mark here. We've confirmed place of power. Next on the list, I think, is this village here. I feel like, just a gut feeling here, I don't think this is going to be occupied by people. I think this is going to have monsters in it. Don't think this is going to be a friendly village. But that is just a sense. So we'll see. And once again, we'll just keep our eyes peeled a bit. I doubt there's going to be much in this area that would sneak past us, given how, well, it's pretty barren snowdrifts mountain. So it'd be pretty clear if there's anything else, I think. We're getting pretty high up. This is already a little interesting here. What are we looking at? A little bit of herbs. Looks like maybe some kind of memorial. Grave. Something of the sort. Oh, I was going to say that is a... I was going to try to step close to the top of that and strike a pose of sorts, but if we are at risk of falling down, then maybe not a great idea after all. So there was this. Is there anything else here? I mean, there's this little indicator on our map for it, so we did expect to run into a little bit of stuff, but it does seem like we might actually be able to climb up higher here, which is tempting to do. I'm not sure if we'll actually see anything interesting, but if we can, then let's just double check on our map. What, if anything, that's going to lead us to? Well, it's going to send us further eastward, and I think we are ultimately going to end up doing that to get to the Family Blade place, so While this is interesting, I'm not sure this is necessarily the right time to do it, because it might be better to do it later on when we're actually trying to head in this direction. Let's just summit this right here, and then we'll turn around / go in a slightly different direction. Maybe this was a bad idea. By maybe this was a bad idea, I mean absolutely this was a horrendous idea. Whew. It'll be fine, don't worry about it. Geralt's just practicing his sledding skills. Are you ready for winter? Okay. Now we head down here. And this might be the place we're looking for. I think it is, in fact. That, for a second that looked like a skeleton. I was like, well, that's a pretty good indicator of what we're perhaps about to run into. So for the most part, at the moment at least, just looks largely abandoned. Bornhalla. As a name, that's a start. Are there any people? Are there any monsters? Is there anything at all? At the moment, I'm seeing remarkably little. That's good stuff. But this looks all boarded up. And doesn't look like we're breaking through it with any kind of art or anything of the sort. So well, maybe we could go through this way. Not necessarily rule out getting swarmed by some kind of enemy here. Especially when the door closes behind us like that. Ashes are probably not a good sign. Limestone is good, though. The loot isn't bad. But, I'm a little bit uneasy here. Yeah, more ashes. We technically shouldn't really pick up, but they weigh almost nothing, so be it. But yeah, it's, sending some bad mojo vibes right about now. And I just heard an enemy of some variety over there. Sounds like a harpy, maybe? Or a griffin? Actually? And that's some kind of building over there. So, some kind of tower, it seems, which we may or may not have been already trying to head toward. Well, actually, I don't know if it's that. Seems awfully, I don't know. Seems like it might be closer than that. No, it's across the body wall. So yeah, I think that actually probably is that question mark there. But, still, no sign of living people, and very ominous sounding music. Which continues to make me concerned.